All right. I'll do the countdown. Ready? And
Ready? Here
in
we go.
5, 4,
Shoot. Okay.
3.
Welcome to another episode of CalBal Live series Meet the Instructors. My name is Jeremy, and today we have with us Laura Keat and Nick Williams. Like, how
Oh,
many seconds was that, folks?
this is not going to go well, audience. This is not going to go well, and it's going to be
You know,
fantastic
it's
for
good
it.
though. It's like, hi, I'm your
Welcome to
regular.
another series of the CalBal Live series. Meet the instructors.
For my first question, I wanted to ask, what, Laura, are you most excited about for this CalBal and CalBal Live?
Ooh, I just realized I don't know. I'm so excited for everything. I think I'm most excited to have the Bal family, my Bal family, all in one place, even virtually, but having like all these people that I know and I love together in one place, and just kind of remembering that we do have a community, even though we're isolated. So yeah, I think I'm excited about the community.
Awesome.
Nick Williams.
Yes, Laura Keat.
Nick Williams, what are you most excited for with CalBal Live?
I know a lot of people are excited about the live music and new music, and I am actually excited for the experience. Because a lot of things that have happened this year and so far, and a lot of live streaming things have been more presentations, and like what you see is what you get. But with CalBal, like it's definitely that same kind of choose your own adventure, where you get the live music, you get the different bands, you can go hang out with people, you can dance around with people, you get classes, you got entertainment. It's kind of like the whole mix, the whole experience that you would normally get at a weekend, and I'm excited to have that with everybody again, because that is definitely the thing that I miss most, is that full experience. Laura, who is your, and keep in mind your audience right now, who is your favorite dance partner? Just
It could be.
I just want you to keep in mind of the audience you have at the moment.
My favorite dance partner is definitely a tie between Rhodey and Sylvia Sykes, for
No.
sure.
I do have a credit card here. I have credit cards. I got 1, 2 Freedom cards. What do you want? United Plus.
It's a four-way tie. It's a four-way tie. Four-way tie.
Bribery.
You two are in there somewhere. Okay, so I win. The two of you need to tell me now, who is your favorite dance partner?
You're up, Jeremy. That's
Yeah.
yeah, you go for it. You're in the hot seat now.
Like, it's somewhere between Laura Keat and Nick Williams. I mean, like this has been my dream wedding for forever. I just been waiting. Like, if I just had a little both, then that would be my favorite partner. So I sort of bounce in between both of those guys, but not so much. Well, not all the time with Nick, but you know, I can't show that.
We've had a lot of years together, Jeremy.
That's right.
I honestly thought you were going to say Alicia or Debbie, since they both did so much with you in the beginning and did so many cool aerials with you.
They did so many cool aerials. But again, Laura, you do so many cool aerials too. Shoot, come on. We've done so many cool things.
Stop it.
I mean, there's so many. I've had the pleasure of dancing with a lot of really great follows. But of course, I stick around with the good ones. Oh, snap.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Nick Williams, not to put you on the spot, but who is your favorite dance partner?
I'll be honest, Baby Yoda and yeah, has been my dance partner during pandemic, used in workshops and stuff, because I needed, a visual. Laura, how did you learn Balboa without a partner?
Yeah, that was super hard. I started learning Balboa when I was about a year into dancing. And in Denver, I think there was like 3 people in Denver at all who did Balboa. It was Johnny Denver. A lot of people knew him as Johnny Denver back then because he traveled so much. John Callahan, and I don't think Heather Ballou had danced by then. Um, John's partner, Deborah, and then maybe there was just 2. I feel like there was a third one in there, but I didn't really know any of them super well. So I had to travel to dance events. And I took the same ish beginning class from Sylvia Sykes, like, I don't know, 10 times, because she was often hired to teach like a beginner class at a dance camp. So it was like a Lindy Hop dance camp. And they're like, Sylvia, I will let you. In fact, I heard Sylvia told me she asked to teach Balboa. She was like, please, you have to let me teach one Balboa class. And so she was trying to spread the love. So I got to learn Balboa, the beginning steps of Balboa, over and over for like 2 years. And I would go to all Balboa weekend to practice. And then by the time the next year came around and all Balboa weekend happened, I was like starting over. Like I lost the feeling and had to start over. But I practiced at home using props and on my dance floor and a mirror, just trying to like practice what it would look like and what it would feel like. And then I took every opportunity I could when I traveled to try to dance it or ask questions. Or I even hung out. This is my favorite story, actually. I would go to dance events. I didn't know Jeremy yet. I only knew you, Nick, and I knew David Ream. Like we were all friends. And you and David and some other people would hang out at like 2 a.m. And I knew if I waited long enough, the dance would end around midnight. And then around 1:30 or 2, you and David would start like messing around and challenging each other with different moves and creating new stuff. And I just knew no matter what, if I just watched you two and if I hung around and happened to be the closest follow in proximity, the 2 of you would be like, check out this move and look around to see what follows around. And I was always there and I was ready because I was like, if I learn these moves as they're creating them, then I'll be able to follow them, even if I can't really follow them. And then you guys will want to dance with me. And it worked. What was it like? I always want to know, what was it like dancing in SoCal in the 90s?
Which part?
Which part of SoCal or
Yes.
which part of the 90s?
That's true because there it was divided at one time.
So Jeremy, I'm gonna start just for a moment because Jeremy had been dancing a couple years before I did. So by the time I came around, I started the very beginning in '98, and that's right before like this. That summer is when the Gap commercial came out. But back then, LA was definitely is still one of those places where it gets popular in LA first before everywhere else, and as soon as it gets popular everywhere else, then LA people move on. Is really what it is. So like when I started, you could go dancing anywhere. Everywhere had a swing night. There were so many different bands, and most of them were pretty terrible but back then we didn't know. But it was just everywhere. It was exciting. It was new. It was fresh. You can go out. It was both a social scene and a dance form, and it was just a lot of excitement. Looking back, everyone sucked dance wise. I mean, like there, not many people were really that good. I mean, it was still like everything was new. Everybody was learning, and so over the years, like things evolved and developed. But it's really like the main thing was the excitement back then. Was definitely one of the key elements with that. Like, and also that everything you learned was new and exciting.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a set scene yet. Like everything was new and exciting.
Yeah, it was really interesting to be a part of the emergence or let's say a re-emergence of Balboa and collegiate shag and these other dances because when I started in 1990, into probably 95 and 96, I danced the Lindy Hop for like a year. I learned at Pasadena Ballroom, and then I started going to the Derby. And like Nick said, there's places at the Derby that was open 7 nights a week, and there was swing music, and it was awesome because it was all live music. And we would sweat our pants off literally in like the back room because there wasn't enough room in front of the band. So you'd be in the back with probably like three extra shirts because the air conditioning probably wasn't that great. And then, but you just wanted to dance all night long because you just love Lindy Hop that much. And then I would say a lot of it attributed to like Peter Loggins and Alicia Milo, like them and Kim Clever and um, and who else? we have Eric and Sylvia, Kim and Dave, and some other dancer from that time. That
Denise.
Denise, right? And so they started doing little bits of these dances because they had started to hang out with the old timers, or they had seen clips. And so once you saw that, you're like, ooh, I want to do that. What is that? And then since the vocabulary was so minimal at that time because we did not have a lot of access, we had to sort of start to make up stuff. You know, you don't want to do like just a basic all night long, usually. So, like you'd see people see them do like variations of a move, and then you know, Jeremy being Jeremy, I'm like, okay, ooh, what's that? Huh? Okay, let me try to do that on my own, and see what I come up with, and then voila, new moves, and then uh, using that content and creating other stuff, just like and most artists do. So
Nick,
that's
And
I have a question, Nick.
oh yeah.
Why was Jeremy called the move burglar?
Well, so I actually have a story about that. Um, uh, this was one of those. No,
Oh no.
this is not a bad story, Jeremy. You know this story. Is that there was
I know the story.
yeah, we were at Susie Q's, and I was doing a move, or like had come up with like a variation on a move or something like that. And then I showed it to, like, it was at when the dance was kind of like winding up and everything. And I showed it to Jeremy, but Jeremy, when he does a move or does something, he'll do it in a Jeremy way. Like he will do the move, but he'll put his own twist on it, no matter what it is. Like he can recreate, but his always inclination is to do it. So I did, like, I did the move. I showed it to him. He was like, "Oh, like this," and then he does it, and then he improved it. I was like, "You son of a!" He made it better. Yes, and that frustrated me. Um, Jeremy met me about a year into my dancing, somewhere around there. Like I was a baby dancer when he met me. We actually had him come in to USC, and with Debbie at the time, and he ended up
Yep,
teaching a
right.
couple classes. I think he actually like did a bow class for one of them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like there was a couple different things, but yeah, back then I was having to constantly relearn Balboa because every time I would learn it, I'd learn it wrong, and that it definitely took a few years to finally like, because every like Balboa was kind of out there, but Shag was more popular, and there was more known with that. But and yeah, and what's interesting is, like, you know, knowing Jeremy so early on, um, that like the Southern California scene definitely had a social hierarchy too. Like that's kind of how kind of Hollywood is a bit. But the funny thing is that Jeremy never cared about it at all. Like there might have been a social hierarchy, but like Jeremy was over here doing Jeremy things. Like he was not involved with the hierarchy. He just did not care. He was kind of like, I just want to dance. Like I don't care.
Exactly.
Like, and everybody just respected that. They're just like, Jeremy's gonna do a Jeremy thing. And so kudos to you, Jeremy, for escaping all of that and just dancing.
There you go. That's the right heart, Laura. I was like, what is that?
My fingers don't work.
Binocular. This was the move burglar. That's the move burglar. I want to know, Laura, what the hardest part was for you at the beginning learning Balboa. Do you remember that?
Hmm. The hardest part learning Balboa
Like
was,
the trickiest thing. Yeah.
it was tricky because I learned Lindy Hop first, not for a long time, but first. So it was really tricky for me to like be grounded while being more upright. Like in Lindy Hop, I could be grounded by like dropping more athletic. That was really natural and wasn't hard for me to grasp. But coming to Balboa and dancing a little bit less bent, like less into the floor, less athletic, and a little bit more upright, I didn't know how to be grounded in that. And I didn't know how to like find the Balboa pulse without bouncing a lot. So I think those were the hardest things, especially because it's such a feeling thing. And so I only could find that. And I remember the moment I found that feeling, I was taking a private lesson from David Rain. So I was still a student, and I was taking a private lesson, and something just clicked. And I was like, this is Balboa. I mean, it was seriously, it was like a spiritual moment. I was like, this is Balboa. And I just like zoned in and remembered that feeling and embraced it. And I didn't forget it. I was able to like recall that feeling from then on. It was amazing. Good question.
All right, final question to you, Laura. Would you rather perform on stage for non-dancers or in an elite competition?
That one is, that's easy for me. I so much prefer performing for non-dancers. I like competitions too, but they're so stressful that performing in front of non-dancers is just exhilarating because they're often super content with whatever you do. They're just very excited to see swing dancing. So I love that. I think there's a lot less pressure for me, or I put less pressure on myself.
Jeremy, same question to you.
Same answer as Laura. I'd say it's easier to perform for in a non-competition sense. When I started actually dancing in LA, I didn't want to compete at all because I knew it created a nervous side in me that I didn't like. But my partner at the time, Debbie, well, encouraged me to do it, and I'm thankful she did. So it pushed me in definitely a new avenue. It forced me to do stuff that I probably wouldn't have done before, and it helped me hone in on balancing my skills because when you actually compete, it brings out a side in you. It brings out your strengths and your weaknesses. So that's one thing that I've really enjoyed about doing competition. Is it pushing my dancing to a different level? It also helps me to grow in areas as I have to compare myself to others and look at their strengths and weaknesses. And it makes me just more self-aware of things I can grow in, and that I can encourage other people to grow in and like just help them along their journey. So
That's good. Nick, what about you? I'm curious, Nick.
I would choose now in my career, I would choose dancing for non-dancers. A lot of the reason being is that like having been in the scene for over 2 decades, you've like we've just done competitions for so many years, and competitions like push your dancing and give you something to practice towards, give you a forum to go show something. And for me, competing was always like I wanted it. I didn't want to compete unless I had something to show. For the most part, like if I just go out there and do the same thing time and time again, that just gets super boring. And for me, like I don't know about everybody else, but like I compete for myself. Like don't get me wrong, like nobody loves losing, but but like really, I'm out there to compete for myself and with a partner. What we've come up with. Um, but for many years now, competition has been a lot less inspiring, and most of the time, competing is more just the ability to perform. Like it's just a forum that makes it easy to go out there and perform. Like if I put together a routine with a partner, it's not to go out there to win. It's to go out there to just put something creative on the floor. Like if I wanted to try to win, I would put together very different routines than what I do. But I want to be inspired. I want to like create something with a partner and put something out there. So that being said, if I could just go around and perform, like perform on stages, perform for non-dancers, like spend time performing, and like kind of in those old like kind of vaudeville days where you had an act and you could perfect that act. And you can hone it and evolve it. Like I love that idea, and to be able to do that, and also that also gives the ability to spread the love of the dance that you love. Like the dances that you love, you can show those to people who don't normally get to see them, and they can hopefully like gather excitement, and who knows, maybe some of them will eventually want to start dancing, but you get to spread that excitement. So really honestly now these days, if I could go like do television things or stage performance things, like I would be all over that. Jeremy Otth, what is the craziest thing you have done in a contest?
oh, well, I think we did the roast review. Um, that is the probably the recorded craziest moment in my life. What song did we dance to, Laura? And that EBC thing.
Oh,
What song?
it
What was
we.
is the Wii song? I
I
don't
don't.
know the title. Anyways,
What did you do?
okay, so there's this move. You don't know who George Christopherson is, or
I do.
actually, I think, yeah, you do. And I think there's some definitely some Harlem dancers doing it. But there's this one where the there's that thing that George Christopherson does. Like he's a jitterbug from like the 50s, and the follows here, and the leader runs up, and then he does a front flip, and then he does this like skid across the floor on his knees, but he's
Hmm.
in a back bend. Um,
It is a dive roll, right?
yeah, like a dive roll, right? You do a front flip and then you land sort of in a back
It's
bend.
supposed to be super smooth and slick. You see it in parkour.
Yeah. So there's that version, and then there's another one that I had seen. I forget if it is some Harlem dancers, definitely. And the leader, like basically, instead of doing a dive roll, he does like a spring. Well, I don't know what you call it. It's like a spring jump off the follow. So Laura's like bent over. That's why my hand is tilted like that. She's bent over. I like do this hand plant thing, and I try to do a front flip, but I didn't land back on my feet like I was hoping. So I landed on my butt like really hard. You can actually see this video, and like you hear like the biggest like thud. And I think the room went silent for probably like 3 or 4 seconds. Like, is that guy all right? And I just sat there and sort of looked at the audience, like just catching my breath. And of course, it was like, well, I'm gonna perform the crap out of this. Hey, I'm fine, you know. But that was definitely a crazy moment. I think
Yeah,
when
I
I was
mean,
yeah,
George
good.
Christopherson was known for like knocking himself out doing things like that. So at least you didn't do that.
Taken right after him, Jeremy.
Hey, folks, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of the CalBal live series, Meet the Instructors. So now what I need you to do is go over to calbal.live and make sure you're registered for the event. We would love to see your face, and we will see you in a month.